Well, if you watched any of our Banking Below 30 stories, you know banks make relatively few loans in minority communities. But as David Schechter shows us, there's growing support for a solution that empowers local governments to enact change.
There's no way to say I support you and I love you like making sure you have access to capital.
If you want change that lasts, change the law. That's what communities across North Texas are working on in response to our Banking Below 30 reports. Our stories have shown how banks lend relatively little money in black and brown neighborhoods, and often with the approval of federal banking regulators.
Since that time, WFAA came out with a Banking Below 30.
Last week, council members for the city of DeSoto recommended unanimously that the city pursue an idea that we've been telling you about for a while. It's called a responsible banking ordinance, and here's how it works. You may not realize it, but local governments keep your tax dollars in banks, the same banks that you and I use. An ordinance like this would require a local government to evaluate how well a bank serves all its citizens from high to low income.
I wholeheartedly support this, and I think it's much needed.
So I think this is right on time, and certainly it will be something that I will support.
Banks are required to follow a federal law called the Community Reinvestment Act, or CRA. It encourages banks to lend to low-income and minority communities. DeSoto has an existing policy that says any bank it works with must have a passing CRA grade from its federal bank regulator. But we've shown how regulators hand out passing CRA grades 98% of the time. And DeSoto has decided it's time to do more.
And the CRA ratings are, to me, just checking boxes. And the data that we will receive with a responsible banking ordinance will be more in depth.
No local governments in North Texas have a policy like this, but 13 cities around the country do have some form of a responsible banking ordinance. In theory, the idea works because local governments are good bank customers, and that gives them leverage. For example, the city of Fort Worth has about $120 million on deposit with Chase Bank. And now some members of the city council want to make sure the next time the city contracts with a bank, that bank is required to show how well it is making loans to the low-income and minority communities here.
I would like to see it move quickly.
Councilmember Michael Crane represents some of the highest and lowest income neighborhoods in Fort Worth. He's working to bring an ordinance forward for debate in the council.
And so if we can make it easier for our citizens to have access to capital or credit to build their dreams, whatever that is, then that's what we should be doing.
So how does it work? Well, banks are required to submit loan data that shows how much they lend and what neighborhoods they lend in, and a reinvestment plan that sets targets for future lending. Local government creates an oversight body to evaluate banks, publish findings, and hold community hearings.
I would argue, who is better positioned than your county and your municipal governments at a local level? They know more about us than the federal government.
Harrison Blair is the president of the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce. The city of Dallas has $257 million on deposit with Bank of America, and council members here are currently crafting a responsible banking ordinance that would be debated as early as October, a move that Blair supports. What can you do to move that ball forward?
Well, we're going to be in the offices of council people at city halls, not just here in Dallas, but other cities that we partner with. And I think having a municipal government back up its citizens who live there, I think it's ingenious.
And we've just learned the Dallas ordinance now has the support from some of the city's most powerful business leaders, represented by the influential Dallas Citizens Council. In a statement, it says, "We support initiatives that provide more accessibility in our financial system. Responsible banking ordinances are one policy tool to achieve that goal. We encourage banks to continue investments in underserved communities." Blair says having allies like that is what helps make lasting change possible.
It's a masterstroke of policy and idea.
In Dallas, I'm David Schechter reporting.